welcome back. This is Predpool with another review. This is for Valaverse Action Force Special Ops Republic Guard. So if you collect this line, you are aware that this is all female line, and this is the basic troop builder that they have. One of the two that they're offering. One is green and one is this version, which is decoed all in black. I only got this one for right now, so we're just gonna go over some basic things over this line. If you're new to this line or considering purchasing it, so hopefully this review may help decide whether you're going to or not. So let's see what we have. So let's start basically with the packaging. As you can see here, it's got some nice artwork in the front. It's windowless. It's kind of similar to how Hasbro has started with their troop builders a year or two ago. So now we have the same concept with Valaverse. So you do not have a window, but has some nice artwork in the front, and in the back you have a file card that if you want to pause and read, and you get an action point there they can use down the road once they start offering some kind of program for that. The side says Action Force, and then we have an image on this which is similar to what's on the front but black and white. So nothing much else to the packaging. So let's get with the figure. The figure, again, if you're familiar with the line or G.I. Joe Classified, it's really some of the similar features. You can move up in the T-pose. I haven't used too much this figure out of the package, so what you see here is without heating. So with this one so far, I have not. It's a little stiff, but nothing as far as concerned that you need to heat. As far as the shoulders, head moves or rotation goes up about that far, goes down. So again, this articulation is not hindered by any gear. This could change depending on the gear that you put in the future, or the ones that you have for specific characters may perhaps interfere. Double jointed elbows. They'll move quite a bit, so you get a nice range. You have a nice rotation here in the upper torso, and then in the waist, another one. So as far as crunching, it's decent. I mean, for what it is. You get to do splits, Van Damme. Upper thigh cut for a rotation here. So far these are not tight. You do have to drop down joint this. Again, something that's common with this joint line. Sometimes they kind of, you're moving around, they kind of drop by themselves when you know, messing around. So you always have to kind of readjust it a little bit. Double jointed knee. These are a little bit tight. So can't get her to kick herself. But I think part of it is also due to the sculpt. So she has baggy pants. So when you try to bend, it's kind of like down here, just as far as it goes. She does have boot rotation. And again, in her ankles, she has, this is a little tight. Again, for mine, I have not heated it. Not so far concerned having to do so, but it is, you do have to put a little pressure to it. And then you have ankle rocker. So that's basically, you know, does not have butterfly joints, but you know, the way it's designed, he's got this cut here, so you don't really need that much. You can get the whole two hands touching. So if you want to have her posing with like a handgun, she won't have that issue. So some people want the butterfly joints there, which I like. I like to have that on the figures, but if the figure is sculpted in a way that doesn't need it, I'm fine with that too. So in this case, I feel it's not vital to have it on this particular buck. Now with the guys, probably did, because they have a wider chest probably. So, and also perhaps they didn't have the same cut. But another nice thing in comparison with the male figures, she doesn't have that shoulder overlap thing. That's kind of looks weird at times if you don't have gear on them. So that's another plus as far as with the female buck. You don't have that weird design. So that worked. Now as far as the face, a lot of nice detail went into this. See if I can focus. And having a hard time focusing. There we go. So here we have her face. They got some nice detail put into there. Now that's the only paint you're gonna get with this one. I think with the green one, you have the face that you just paint, and then have kind of like a little bit different green shading on the green one on certain parts. Well, this one is all black. There's no gray or different shading of black. But you do get some. The only paint work you really do get is here in the eyes, which it's amazing. If you look at, say, on pictures when they first introduced this line, I mean for the females, it kind of didn't look too great from my opinion, but the final product came out better. So kudos to them. You do have a second head sculpt. So that is offered. Let's see. There we go. So if you want some variants, troop building, again, they always offered options as far as with the head sculpt. Well, that's pretty nice. Accessories, I haven't even taken out of the little bag yet, so let's go ahead and do that. So we'll start off with the weapon. So if you're again familiar with Valaverse, at first their troop builders didn't come with any weapons, and then many were upset that they did not. So then they started including them. So I think Articulated Ninja was one of the main ones that was very vocal about that, amongst others. But then they started adding some kind of weapon to their basic troopers. So she comes with this kind of like Uzi type with a silencer and scope. So it's pretty nice. But I am going to use a different weapon with her though, and put some gear for her also. Alright, and Valaverse, they always also include extra hands. So you get 2 fisted hands. And you also get 2 open palm hands. And again, some people like them, some people don't. I do. Some say, well, you can use the other gripping hands to hold the weapons. You just have to heat them up, or they're referring to these perhaps, or the other trigger hand. The only thing I don't like about doing that, because then once you use these to hold the weapon to grip them, it looks natural, but then you kind of have a hard time using them if you want to put like a different weapon later on, like a knife or another gun. Like if they want to dual wield the weapon, but you already stretched, say, their left hand. Now you have to heat that hand again, so that it will fit. So to each their own. Me, I don't mind getting these hands. You can also use them not just for holding, like grasping weapons, but also for other expressions, or hold other things. Now, so some the pros are with the basic figure, you can customize, put different gear. I know he's going to eventually be releasing gears that are specifically for the female wave. So if you want to buy a bunch of these and then hold on to them until that occurs, that's great. Or if you have gears from other figures from other lines that you can probably cross use, that's great. Which I'm going to show something that I did with her in a minute. Now there's one gripe I do have. Actually, it's kind of 2-in-1 gripe. The head, you can remove this one just fine. Well, you have to put some pressure to remove. So that's this ball joint's a little tight, the one that comes with, but it is removable, and with some pressure you can put it back in. with that, when I try to put this one on, this ball joint keeps either like moving back or forward, so it doesn't allow me to put the pressure I need. And plus this socket seems to be just a tight bit small, so when you try to put it in, it's a hassle. And so you kind of have to either heat this, or you're gonna have to modify it to cut a little bit, shave it off a little bit, so that this would fit fine without you worrying either breaking this, or if you're like an old guy like me, throwing your shoulder out of dislocating your shoulder, trying to push this thing in here, or pulling a muscle or straining or something. That's not something that's very good. So I wish they improve on that on future ways for the females. This socket needs to be modified so that let it be tight, but not that you have to modify the socket or worry about breaking the figure or breaking your shoulder. So that's one gripe. The other gripe I have is with the mailbox, you can pretty much customize by just putting another head from another line. And I did this without having to adjust the socket, without doing any modification on the head. I just put it in there and that was it. He fit. The ball is, no modification. I just put it here, gets a tight fit, and that's it. So it's like a universal ball socket that, for most, not every, but at least in general, you can put another head from another line on here and create your own characters. The females, you can't do that. This ball socket is small, which means if you want to use a head sculpt for right now, especially with these army builds, or even with the other characters that they have that you want to buy multiples and make new characters of your own. I tried Marvel, I tried G.I. Joe, and they just don't fit. The sockets are too big. Yes, you can fill it with putty, you can fill it with I use aluminum foil, you can do that. But it's not always going to look as smooth or work as, great as if the socket's already kind of close to already the same size. Like with this Steel Brigade, I put aluminum foil, because again, that's my method. And fine, she works, it won't fall off. And I can use how I want her to. But I had, again, adjust the socket, put something in the socket to make it fit. Otherwise, it's not going to work. The other thing I did was I also got this from WWE, which I've had laying around with just in my fodder bin, and I went ahead and customized and drilled, widened the hole, and now I can there, it clicked in, and now I can use this head sculpt if I wanted to, but again, I had to modify. I didn't have to do that as much with the guide box, so it kind of stinks a little bit that it kind of now limits or requires more effort to do things like this. So overall, I do like this figure, and I would recommend it. If you want to army build specifically for this line, if you're planning to customize, especially with the head sculpts, it's going to require some work on your part to do so, or just creativity. So if you're willing to do that, you're comfortable, go ahead. But I'm glad I got this figure. I don't plan to buy another one of this one. And when they come out with the blue one, I'll probably get one or two of those just to throw in with the with G.I. Joe, with Cobra Troopers. So that's what I plan to do with that. So let me put on some of the gear that I'm gonna be utilizing for now with this character. Alright, so here she is. I gave her a different rifle. This is the one that came with the male as far as special ops, which was all black. So I'm using that rifle, and the chest armor I actually used from a DC figure that I just took it off of him and put it on her. So for now, this is what I'm using until perhaps when Valaverse officially release their own version. But this will do for now. So basically, she's going to be this guy's teammate who I customized and used from Power Rangers. I forgot the name of the character, but he's the one that's like a all black, and I just put the Valaverse armor on him. So these two will be working together as of right now. So alright, so yeah, I think they look pretty good together. I want to see if I can paint one of the helmets from Blowback and paint it black and put it on her. So see how that works out. So anyways, I hope this helps. Let me give you now some comparisons with some other female figures. Alright, so here we have Pandora, and we have a Steel Brigade with a custom head on it from the same line. So just again, see how she matches up with them. So again, this is as far as the Steel Brigade and this spec special ops, they're the same buck, it's just that different colors. Well, Pandora, she does have some different unique parts compared to the rest of the line for this wave. Alright, so some other comparisons. We have some Cobra ladies. So we have Zorana and we have Baroness. So just again to get an idea as far as their size and how they would work together. So definitely I think that you can use this figures together in some whatever scenario you want to create. Here we have Lady J and a custom that I created using also Lady J buck. I just painted the top black, gave her Stalker's hat and some Valaverse weapons. But again, here she is now with some females from the Joe side. And here are some male Valaverse figures. Again, I put different heads and I gave Trigger different body, used some blowback body, and I put Killmonger's head on the green troop builder for the male body. So again, this is in comparison to female with the male counterparts for this line. Alright, so here she is. I just changed this hand after I did the comparisons, and I was able to remove the original hand that she came with, but it was rough. Definitely you need to heat the hands if you want to change them, especially at first. So that's another thing I think that needs to be improved on again. They had done well with the previous wave 2 A and B. It wasn't such a hassle to change the hands, but there's some things that are creeping back into the line with the femmes as far as what we experienced with the first wave. There were some tight joints, and the head, as I mentioned before, is hard to change, and also the hands. Definitely need to heat them before. I didn't break the hand that originally came in, but it was a struggle to get that out. So you can recommend to heating those before you interchange them. Alright, so I hope this video helped you out in some way or form. Decide whether you want to buy this specific figure or buy within this line. Again, I like this figure. I plan to buy more of the character based ones. This one I'm okay with just having one, so I'm good with this one. Alright, again, subscribe and like if you like to. I hope again you joined this video, and I'll see you next time.